Welcome to today's class. Today's class is going to be a general yoga for just kind of meeting yourself. So when you've been out all day, you've been at work, or you've been interacting with other people and you've kind of depleted a little bit of your energy, or you need to restore some of it, or you need to gather in your thoughts or your physical well-being, this is a yoga class to connect to yourself so that you can then enter into your yoga practice. Because often with yoga, people join the class and they bring all the baggage with them wherever they've been, whatever they've been doing, and then it takes them a good while. So these are some little techniques to help you to enter your class with a little bit more introspection, so that you can really dive into your practice and get more from it. So we're going to just dust off our physical self. So if you've just arrived from work, or you've been out doing stuff with the kids, or you've been in some social situations, we're just going to dust off the physical body. So just move from side to side. So shift your weight from left to right and start to relax the shoulders. You can even maybe just have a little bit of a knee bounce here as you're moving the weight from side to side. If you've had a busy day, maybe you can focus your eyes around the room or wherever you are doing this yoga class. But if you really feel like closing off the outside world, you can start to close the eyes. And we're just again moving from knee to knee, shifting the weight from left to right, and then we're going to start to move the shoulders as well. So you can maybe slow down your knee bend or your sway and start to focus on the shoulders. Let the arms do anything that they really feel like doing. So for example, mine are bending at the elbows, as you can see, and my fingers are starting to kind of take shape, traveling out to the side of the body. So I'm feeling into my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, and then when I've started to really feel into what I'm carrying here around that shoulder girdle, I'm going to start to think about my neck, take my focus to the neck. So I'm going to slow down my hips, slow down the shoulders, come back into that neutral space, and maybe just have a gentle sway here. And I'm going to take the gaze just over one shoulder or towards one shoulder, then back into neutral, and then take the gaze over the other shoulder and back into neutral. We're just scanning the neck, checking in with the neck and the mobility around the neck, the base of the skull, and how are your thoughts? So we're starting to check in with that physical body. How are your thoughts as you enter into this yoga class, this movement, this shifting of energy from wherever you've been to what we're doing now? And then if you've got your eyes closed, you can flicker them open. And we're going to start to bring in a little bit more movement here. So again, sway from side to side, shifting your weight from left to right. Take the arms with you. As you're moving from left to right, start to take an inhale in one way and an exhale in the other. So start to flow with the breath. Connecting to your breath when you move into a yoga practice is a good way to feel where your energy levels are, how you're feeling energetically, what your emotions are doing, how you're feeling physically. So as we're swaying from side to side, taking the arms from left to right, taking an inhale in one direction and an exhale in the other, start to let go of your day, let go of the people that are in it. You can reclose the eyes if you want to. Move the arms maybe just a little bit more, bend through the knee just a little bit more if you're feeling that is available to you now. So if you're not feeling that fluid, just keep the movements around the center, more towards that neutral space. Move in tune to how you feel and start to let go of the people that are in your day. Let go of your obligations, let go of your things to do list. Inhale in one direction, exhale in the other. And we're really starting to connect to ourselves so that we can immerse in the yoga practice more easily and with a little bit more knowledge about how we're feeling. Instead of pushing through that yoga practice, we're absorbing how we feel mentally, physically and emotionally, And we're going to enter that practice maybe with a little bit more tenderness towards ourselves. So now we're going to move the arms a little bit more vigorously from side to side, from left to right. You can take an inhale in one direction, exhale in the other, like before. We're going to start to move the arms and the palms so that they're in tune with each other. So they're about train track apart, you know, so they're running parallel to each other, but they look like train tracks as we're swaying them from side to side to side. We're keeping them in unison with each other. And then we're going to start to lift them up towards the shoulders, so they're parallel to the shoulders. And then if you want to, you can start inviting this figure of 8. So we're gently moving through the hips, soft knee bend, and we've got these arms at shoulder level, making a figure of 8, and taking the gaze with it. Start to follow your figure of 8 with the gaze. Bringing that energy in, bringing your focus in towards you, becoming a little bit more hypnotized by what's going on for you rather than the external world. And then we're going to start to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. And if you're tied around the shoulders, tied around the elbows, just keep the arms nice and soft, soft at the elbows, soft at the wrist. You can still make that figure of 8 and still follow your figure of 8. And then we're going to start to slow that down, lower the arms, gentle breaths. Really follow the breath. Inhale in one direction, exhale in the other, and start to lower the arms just a little bit further, all the way down to the sides of the waist. And just allow the arms to come to the side of the waist in their own time, as though they're almost spare parts, and you're just gently moving the hips from side to side. And the arms are just kind of reacting to that movement because we've softened the shoulders just a little bit. We've made that contact with our physical body, made that contact with our breath, and we're starting to make that contact with our emotional selves. And then we're going to bring our hands to that heart space here. So at the breastbone, this thin area at the breastbone, just rest one hand on top of the other. Slow down that movement between shifting your legs from left to right. Just make it a really gentle sway. Soften through the shoulders, close the eyes. Long, slow, gentle breaths. And just take a bit of time here to assess how you've been feeling, just to bring that all together, the physical, the mental, emotional. Bring it all together. How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling emotionally? How are your thoughts? And we're not here to judge that, remember, we're just gathering that information in so that when we do our practice, you can use that information in a really kind way towards yourself to move through just a few asanas that we're going to be doing today. And then we're going to bring ourselves to stillness into our Tadasana. Maybe just lift one foot off the floor very gently, place it back down, and then the other, just to shift any energy that's collected under the feet. Maybe lift the toes off the floor, bend slightly through the knees. One long, slow, gentle breath. And then slowly exhale through the mouth and just let go of the day or your week or your year. Just let go, allow yourself to be less connected to that external stuff, even though, you know, we can't always quieten the mind as quickly. And then we're just going to release the arms and the palms from the heart and kick one leg out in front and then the other. And we're going to take ourselves down onto our mat. So you can use a pillow for the back of the head and you can just get down there any which way you feel is good. So I'm just going down on one knee and then the other. Finding a nice pillow, a velvet covered pillow that feels nice underneath my neck, And then we're taking ourselves down onto the mat. So it's a little bit different down here because the skeleton is supported, and we're really checking in with this torso now. We're being a bit more specific. So when we were upwards, we were kind of just dusting off from the day, and now we're getting a little bit more focused. So I want you to draw the chin towards the chest. Maybe widen the shoulders along the mat, and you can do that by gently pressing in the back of their arms, the back of the upper arms and the elbows, to find a little bit more room in between the shoulder blades, the tops of the shoulders, the armpits and underneath the breast. And then we're going to draw the chin towards the chest, bend the legs at the knee, allow the knees to fall in, take the feet just slightly apart so you can accommodate that. Take your awareness down towards the lower belly. We're going to do our pelvic tilts. So all the while we're checking in with this torso, our torso that contains precious elements of our body, including our breath here, including all our internal organs that just function without us telling them to every morning. So we're going to bring our hands to the belly. So bring the torso to stillness and to rest. Bring the palms to around the belly area, around the belly button, and place the palms on that front body with the fingers pointing down towards the pubic bone. And we're going to make some small circles, circling the palms in towards each other so that the thumbs kind of touch, maybe the thumbs and the index finger. And then we're circling the hands and the palms out and away, so over the tops of the hips, the outside edges of the waist, and the bottom parts of the ribs. So just gentle circles here, making that contact with your body. Don't forget the breath here as well, so long, slow, gentle breaths. Just calming down the digestive system here. And obviously this is just one part of the digestive system, but every day we're digesting life of some form, either our own thoughts and emotions or others, or how our body is feeling physically, or the external world and all of its drama. So we're just soothing down that digestive area, helping us to soften and relax. And then we're going to release the arms and the palms to the side body. Check in again with the torso. Draw the chin towards the chest. How are the shoulders feeling? How's the mid-belly feeling? How are the hips feeling? And then we're going to take the gaze from left to right. So just gently take the gaze over each shoulder, seeing how the neck is feeling today, the back of the head, any tension in the scalp. And all the while we're letting go of our day, all the while we're starting to surround ourselves with tenderness, with our yoga practice. All the while we're bringing that physical, mental and emotional body together so it cooperates more productively, more gently, and really honours our needs. And then we're going to just do a little bit more movement. So heel toe the feet back in towards each other so the feet are hip distance apart. And we're going to come into a simple Apanasana. So before you go there, again, you might want to do a couple of pelvic tilts. Just tilting the pubic bone up towards the belly button. And then on your next exhale, we're going to bring that pelvic bowl to stillness. Take an inhale and lift the feet off the floor. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Take the hands behind the thighs and invite the thighs in towards the body on an exhale. Do that a few times. Just checking in with your breath and checking in with how the thighs feel coming in towards that front body. Is there easy flow there? Is a little bit of tension? Really listen to your body and allow the body to unravel in its own sweet time. So if there is a little bit of tension, a little bit of resistance, slow down, take longer, slower, deeper breaths. Really honour that movement, and that's what this practice is about, really. It's honouring yourself before you enter a practice, a yoga practice, or any inward reflection on yourself, which is what yoga is. And then we're going to release the knees and the thighs away from the body. Take the hands from behind the thighs and rest them on the tops of the knees. And we're going to cross the ankles over just to keep the lower legs nice and safe, and start to make some gentle circles. So take the knees in whichever direction suits you best. And we're going to keep these circles nice and small, centered on the lower back, really feeling into that lower region of the lumbar spine, all the way down to the tailbone. Again, soften through the elbows as you invite the thighs in towards the body, and also you can take that exhale as you invite the thighs in towards the body. And then we're going to start to just change direction. So start to go down the gears, slowing down that movement so that you can take your knees in the opposite direction. And again, as you're inviting the thighs in towards the body, you're exhaling and you're taking an inhale as your knees naturally move away. And when we're doing these little circles, we're checking in with the front and the sides and the back of the pelvic bowl. Again, use that breath. Exhale as you're inviting the thighs in towards the body. And you're just gently resting the hands and the fingers on the tops of the knees. And as you're making these gentle circles, these small circles, we're bending through the elbow. So we're keeping the shoulders soft. And then we're going to slow down this movement as well. Just gently bring yourself back into that neutral spot. Bring the knees back into neutral. Maybe adjust the head and the neck, take the gaze from left to right, uncross the ankles, and then we're going to slide the hands over the tops of the knees, down the fronts of the thighs, again making that contact with the body and bringing the feet to the floor and feeling into the feet. How are those feet feeling? We really want to ground and base ourselves after each pose so that we're lovely and stable. And then just take the arms out to the side, palms facing up, generous bend at the elbow, and open it up the upper body just a little bit underneath the breasts and the armpits. Take a few long, slow, gentle breaths here. Soften through the upper arms, the shoulders, the elbows, all the way down, the forearms into the fingertips. Really let any kind of tensions that you've built up in the day be released. So this is where we hold our posture, or much of it, in that upper body. Once the upper body starts to fold in on itself, we start to bring the torso forward. We start to bring the whole of the head and the neck forwards, and then we become out of line at the hips. So this is a real opener to allow yourself to realign to some degree before we practice. Realign your personal alignment. And then we're going to move again. So take an inhale, lift the arms towards the body, hugging the upper arms in towards the ribs as though you're giving yourself a little gentle hug, and rest the arms and the palms on the belly. Do a couple of pelvic tilts here again, connect the shoulders, roll them up towards the ears. At the same time, do some pelvic tilts if that feels good, and really start to soften and expand through this torso. And then we're going to bring the torso to stillness, lift the arms up above the head, take fingers up towards the ceiling, cross the right arm over the left and give yourself a hug, rubbing the tops of the shoulders, again dusting off your day. And then we're going to take an inhale, lift the arms back up towards the ceiling again, cross the left over the right, give yourself a hug on the other side. And we're really starting to take care of ourselves now and become aware of ourselves and how we're feeling. Then we're going to release the arms gently to the side body, extend the legs along the mat into our Shavasana. So you can adjust your pillows if you need to. And then as you've extended through the legs, you might feel that need to bend and flex the toes. So just easily, gently flex the toes away, point the toes away from the body, and then flex the toes up. So reaching into the back of the ankles and the fronts of the ankles, the fronts of the feet. Maybe wriggle the toes and then circle the ankles in one way and then the other. Just find that lubrication, that softness, that expansion, releasing through the knees because we've had the knees bent for a while. And then often I get this urge to clench one buttock and then the other to really shake out my lower body. And then we're going to take our arms to the side body, allow the legs to be still, and take a couple of long, slow, gentle breaths in through the nose, sigh out through the mouth. So draw the chin towards the chest, maybe close the eyes. And as you take your breaths in through your nose and sighing it out through your mouth, really try to consciously let go of your day. Just let go of your connection to it. Just allow it to leave altogether if you can. So with each connection through the yoga practice, you've got that chance to reset, to restart. So we'll bring the arms and the palms to the belly again so the fingers are pointing inwards, and then we're going to bend the legs at the knee again, plant the soles of the feet on the floor, and we're coming into a laying spinal twist. Nice and simple. You can use pillows if you want to. You can use a pillow for the outside edge of your thigh. So we'll take the legs to the right at the moment for the first time. Just allow the knees to fall to the right, and you can use a pillow to fill that space in between that outside edge of that thigh and the floor. And you can put a pillow in between your thighs if you want to, and if you want to, you can put a pillow underneath that left hip. So we're just allowing ourselves to relax and unwind in this laying spinal twist to the right. Now, if you want, you can lift your arms up above the head. You can interlace all 10 fingers, or maybe take the arms out to more of a goddess pose. Or if you want to, you can just allow the arms to be parallel to the shoulders, palms facing down. So a few positions with the arms for you to consider, which will suit your mood, your mobility around your shoulders. So choose which one that feels good. We'll be here for a few breaths here. And then when you found that comfortable space, we're going to soften through the whole of this left side. So really soften through this left hip flexor. You can even take a hand down there if you want to. So take your left hand down towards that left hip flexor and just glide the palm down the side of the left side of the body, down past the rib cage, past the waist, over the tops of the hip and into that left hip flexor, but it's just optional. It's a really nice idea to feel the areas of the body that you're working on, to see what's actually going on in that area and how they respond to touch. You could just do that a couple of times and then just bring your arm back into the position that you've chosen. And also, while we're here, we're going to take the gaze in the opposite direction to the knees. So I'm just keeping mine in neutral so that I'm not talking away from the camera. But that is the next option, to just take the gaze in the opposite direction to the knees. In fact, it's preferable really for the full twist, but you can, if you want to, just keep it in neutral, drawing the chin towards the chest and finding that length at the back of the neck. So just allow yourself to take in a few long, slow, gentle breaths, really breathing into this left side, expanding it, softening it, letting go of any burdens that you might have come to class with and you're still hanging on to them. Just start to reduce their intensity or hold upon you. You can exhale through the mouth if that feels good, or inhale. You can inhale and exhale through the nose. And then we're going to start to just release through this shape in our body. Wherever your arms and palms are, we're going to draw them in towards the body. Tuck them into the rib cage again, maybe cross the arms over the front of the body. Another little self-hug. And we're going to start to draw the gaze in towards neutral. And then think about lifting that left leg up and bring the left foot to the floor. Feel into that left side, maybe take your hands there as well. Just giving that left hip some TLC through the palms of the hands, a little bit of heat and softness through the palms. And then we're going to start to lift the right leg, bring the right leg to the floor, adjust the hips, align them back in line with the rest of the torso. Do any movements with the hips, the shoulders to bring you back into that alignment. I've left my pillow in between my thighs. So if you do have a pillow in between your thighs, just leave it there. And we're just realigning the torso here. And often after a spinal twist, I feel that I need to do other movements. So I'll move my shoulders backwards and forwards to take the shoulders forwards, and then bring the shoulder blades together, pushing through the backs of the arms and the elbows, just to feel into a little bit more what's going on with my shoulders. Can I release a little bit more? Same with the hips. I can relax my shoulders and my arms and palms, take my awareness down to the lower body, to the lower back. A few pelvic tilts here just to really feel it into how the body is. And then before we go onto the other side, we're going to extend through the legs again to come into that Shavasana. And again, just find yourself allowing the body and the energy to flow all the way to the feet, point and flex the toes. And as you're doing that, you could maybe open and close the fingers, draw the fingers into the palm and then expand them out. So both sets of extremities are doing a little bit of energy release. And you can circle the ankles, circle the wrists. Long, slow, gentle breaths here. Keep sighing out if you have had a busy day or you really have finding it difficult letting go. Sigh everything out. Signals to the body that it's time to let go anyway. Then we're going to bring the arms and the palms to the side body, rebend the legs at the knee, and we're taking that movement over to the other side. So again, you can engage pillows. I've still got my pillow in between my thighs, and then I'm going to use a pillow for the outside edge of my right hip and a pillow for the outer side of my left leg. So I'm just allowing my knees to fall in, down towards the left side, and then just gently tucking in a little pillow under my right hip to encourage that side to soften. Also, if you've got bony ankles, you can lower that pillow in between your thigh to just offset that a little bit. And then again, you can take the gaze in the opposite direction. You can take your arms out to the side so that they're parallel to the shoulders, palms facing down or palms facing up, or you can lift your arms up above the head, interlace all 10 fingers, or just leave your arms out to the side, bent at the elbows, so it's more like a goddess pose. So the shape of your arms is really going to be influenced by just how you're feeling, how your posture is, what your breath's like, your mobility around the shoulders. So really stay with your intuition, with your knowing of where your body feels comfortable. And that way you'll get the best out of your practice. You won't be forcing, you won't be putting high expectations on yourself, because this is a practice just to explore and let go. And again, you can breathe into this side body using your right hand. Just take the palm down the outer edge of the right side of the body, starting from the ribs, over the waist, over the tops of the hip, down to that right hip flexor. Taking the movements down, encouraging the body to soften and open, so that this twist is opening up the back of the body, that it's releasing the torso, releasing the spine, allowing the hip flexors to soften and open. And then we're going to release from here. So just gently draw the arms in towards the body, hug the ribs again, hug yourself. Start to lift up that right leg and foot, bring the right foot to the floor, check in with that right side of your body by maybe pressing into the mat with that right foot, but not too much. We're all the time we're checking in with ourselves. We're really considering what's going on for the body and what its needs are. And then we're going to draw that left leg up in towards the midline, bring the left foot to the floor. Just remove the pillows from the sides, the outside edges of the body. Just take them out to the side and do a couple of pelvic tilts here again to bring the body back into alignment. Draw the head and neck back into alignment. Sorry, I forgot to say that. And we're checking in with the torso again. So maybe roll the shoulders up towards the ears when you're resting your hands on your belly. Maybe take the gaze from left to right, check in with the neck. You can take the pillow from in between your thighs and just set it out to the side. And then you can allow the knees to fall in, the feet to come slightly apart. Do a couple of pelvic tilts, feeling with the torso as a whole. So now we've checked in with the body while we're standing up, while we're lying down, and we're going to start to move a little bit more upwards and in more in a seated position. So before we go there, let's just extend the legs along the mat, feel into the lower body, release that bent knee feeling, bend and flex the toes, circle the ankles. Take an inhale, lift the arms up above the head, full body stretch. Interlace all 10 fingers or hold on to the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. Really feel into the breath, so take one long, slow, gentle breath. And how are you feeling now as compared to when you first started class? Have you got a little bit more information about yourself on a physical level? What are your physical needs? What are your emotional needs? And then we're going to bend the legs at the knee, plant the soles of the feet on the floor, lift the feet off the mat, draw the knees in towards the chest, take the hands behind the thighs, interlace all 10 fingers, and then we're going to very gently lift the head and the neck off the floor. Start to take the nose towards the knees. Now we've been down there a little bit, so we want to be careful with that upper body. We're going to take just a gentle rock and roll here on the mid-back. Soft and gentle breath. And then we're going to release the head and the neck back down towards the floor, draw the thighs in towards the body to keep the torso safe. Then release the feet to the floor. Align with your torso again. Lift the hips over to one side, roll over onto the side body. Draw the legs in towards the body and just let that left hip expand outwards. Check in with the right hip. Do a little bit of wriggling here as you're on your side body and you've got that pillow to support the side of the head. Gentle breaths. Long, slow, gentle inhale and then an exhale. Now we're going to extend the legs along the mat, and before we get fully extended, we're going to wriggle the torso round so that we come back onto our backs again. Use the upper arms and the elbows, then rebend the legs at the knee, take the hips over to the other side this time and just roll over onto the side body on the opposite side, and draw the knees in towards the body. And again, expand through your right hip. Really feel that expanding and wriggle through the torso. How's the body feeling on the side? And then when you're ready, we're going to extend the legs along the mat and roll over onto our front body. So we're going to come right into front Shavasana. You can leave your pillow where you want to. On the mat if you want to. And you can bring the head and the neck down onto the pillow, take the gaze to the left or the right, or you can bring your pillow more up towards the top of the mat and just take your forehead down towards the edge of the pillow so that you can realign that spine. So the spine is in alignment. So choose where you'd like to go. I'm just going to take my gaze to one side and bringing my arms up to the height of the shoulders or thereabouts, bending at the elbows. And then I'm just wriggling through the backside to release anything in the lower body there. I'm rocking from side to side. And I'm starting to let go from that belly downwards, those internal organs around the fallopian tubes, the uterus, and those inner groin muscles. Allow the thighs to soften here, and then slow down that movement or that shaking from side to side, and soften here. Long, slow, gentle breaths here. And then we're going to start to think about releasing through the face. So for that, we need to lift the head and the neck, bring the forearms to the floor, take the pillow out to the side, and we're going to make a pillow or a surface with our hands. So we're going to pile one fist on top of the other. So make a fist with both hands, pile them on top of each other, and we're taking our forehead down towards the floor. Now, if 2 fists is too much, you can just come down onto 1 fist, whichever feels comfortable. But the purpose of doing this is to let the face relax, allow all of the emotions to drop through the face and into the mat, down into the floor, and dilute them, so we can reset the face, the facial expression, allow any tensions to move out of the body, any emotions that are not that helpful right now in this practice, or maybe going on to wherever you're going following this practice. So we're going to spend a few moments with our heads and face downwards onto the mat, soften through the jowl, soften through the jaw. Let go of all of those emotions from the week or the day, or any emotions that you would like to start to let go of that are not particularly helpful and that also cause tension in the face. Just allow the jowls to be loose, soften the jaw, relax the tongue. Long, slow, gentle breaths. And then we're going to just gently lift. So take an inhale, lift the head and the neck. Draw the arms out to the side, bend the arms at the elbow, tuck the forearms in towards the body, expand through the fingers and the palms. Bring the palms either sides of the shoulders. Curl the toes under, bring the heels towards each other, and we're going to make our way up into a tabletop position. So take an inhale, and on the exhale, push through the arms and the palms and the toes, bend through the knees, and come into that seated position. And we're going to do 10 rounds of cat-cow. So before you go there, you might want to sort out your t-shirt or sit back on your heels just to prepare for that. And then we're going to lift the backside up off the heels, bring the hands to the mat. Hands are shoulder width apart and they're in line with the shoulders. Knees are hip distance apart and in line with the hips. Before we go anywhere, let's just bump the hips from side to side. Bring a little bit of motion into this other plane that we are in a more upright plane. So the body and the skeleton has to start to operate and move a little bit more now. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself back into that neutral space. Take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, round the shoulders, chin towards the chest, let the head and neck rest in between the upper arms. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, the chest and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Rest the head and neck in between the upper arms. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, round the shoulders, chin to chest. Now we're halfway through, so let's just take a little bit of a rest. Rest the head and neck in between the upper arms and allow the body to sway forwards up over the wrists and back, taking the backside towards the heels. And as you do, take an inhale as you come up over the wrists and exhale as you come and taking the backside towards the heels. One more. Inhale over the wrists, exhale down towards the heels and then back into neutral. And then maybe just lift one hand off the mat and then the other, just in case you're pushing too much through the heel of the hand. Lift one knee off the mat and then the other. Maybe wriggle the bottom from side to side, so just bump the hips from side to side. Curl the toes under, take the backside towards the heels. And then we're going to do our 5 rounds of cat-cow. So come back into that neutral space, tabletop position. Take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Really pull those shoulder blades apart. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. One more. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the neck. Exhale, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. And then we're going to part the knees, bring the toes together. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, bring the backside towards the heels. Extend the arms up towards the top of the mat, just coming into a very gentle child's pose. So soften through the elbows, bring the forearms to the floor if that feels good. And then on your next exhale, we're going to lift the backside up off the heels. Come into your tabletop position, draw the knees in towards each other. Come onto your back sides again into a seated position. So find an easy seated pose, an easy sukhasana, just with your shins crossed over the front. Again, feel into the body. So how's the torso in this position? So we've brought a little bit of energy towards the head with our cat-cow and our child's pose. So we've fed the mind, fed the brain. And when we feed the mind and feed the brain more regularly, the thoughts slow down. The things to do list becomes less important. And our drive to keep going, even though we're exhausted, starts to think about other ways of slowing down. So now we're in a seated position. We're going to connect to the torso here. Lift the flesh from underneath the sit bones, settle into the floor, and then rest the hands on the tops of the knees and maybe take the shoulders up towards the ears. How does the torso feel here? So as you're taking your shoulders up towards your ears, maybe give the back of the head, the base of the skull, that occipital ridge, a little bit of a rub against the shoulder girdle. That's quite a nice feeling. It's a really good way to let go. And then drop the shoulders down and away. And then we're going to come into that neutral position and start to sway forwards and back. So we're going to take the torso forwards over the shins and tilt the pelvis back. We're going to hold on to the knees so that we don't fall over, so that we don't fall too forward, don't fall too far back. Bending gently through the elbows as we move. And then when you start to get the rhythm of this movement, this alternative cat-cow really, we're going to invite the breath in. So take an inhale as we come forwards over the shins, and exhale as we tilt the pelvis, draw the chin towards the chest. And we're going to move in this self-soothing way. So really find your own rhythm here. If you can, close your eyes. No need to move quickly, especially if you are moving in time with the breath. Then this movement will make you slow down and take notice. So we're taking that inhale as we take the torso forwards, take the head and the gaze. And an exhale as we tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. And we're contracting and expanding through the elbows, softening the torso. And then we're going to do one more of these. So take an inhale, take the torso forwards, bend through the elbows. Exhale, extend through the elbows, tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest. And then just gently bring yourself back into that neutral space. Maybe adjust the sit bones again, check in with the torso. Then take the hands to the outside edges of the knees, draw the knees in towards each other and cross the ankles. Extend the legs along the mat, just give the knees a little bit of a rub. Release any bent knee feeling that might be gathering there. And then we're going to bend one leg at the knee and the other leg at the knee, and we're going to bring the other shin forwards so that we keep the legs balanced. And here we're going to bring our sit bones to the mat again, draw up through the spine, let the belly drop down and come forward, soften through the shoulders. And we're going to invite in a little yogi grind. So again, that's circular movement. So we're going to take the body towards the left knee, into the front, that space by the shins, over to the right knee, and tilt the pelvis backwards towards the right hip, into neutral, over to the left hip, and then coming up over the left knee, central, right knee, right hip, left wrist, right wrist. And we're going to carry on with this circular movement. And as we do that, we're going to start to take an inhale as we come over the knees and the shins, and an exhale as we tilt the pelvis round the shoulders, chin towards the chest, and move from one hip to the other. Again, you can close your eyes here and just keep this movement small. No need to lose your balance, no need to make large dynamic movements. You can orientate the shoulders as you're moving forwards and really become one snake-like rhythm. So we're taking that inhale as we come forward and exhale as we tilt behind. Being really kind to the knees, the shoulders. And we're going to start to think about slowing this movement down, but purely so that we can move in the opposite direction. So start to think about slowing down, going down the gears, coming into reverse. And then we're going to take an inhale and start to move in the opposite direction. Soft, gentle breaths. An inhale as you come, bringing the body over the shins and the knees, and an exhale as you tilt the pelvis behind. Draw the chin towards the chest. And then we're going to bring ourselves back into that neutral space to start to think about slowing down this movement, this yogi grind. Until we're back into that neutral space. Keep the eyes closed, because that movement, circling in one direction and then the other, it brings a certain energy, a certain perspective to the body. So just close the eyes while the torso settles down, while the eyes settle down, while the balance settles down, while the energy settles down. If you can, drop the belly down again and forwards, rise up through the torso. Feel connected through those sit bones, soften at the elbows, soften the shoulders. And then take one long, slow, gentle breath. Sigh out through the mouth. And before we take ourselves down onto the mat for our final pose, we're just going to open up that facial expression. So while we're here, we're going to start to orientate the face. So start to wriggle the forehead from side to side or up and down, using the eyebrows as well, bringing some movement and release in that part of the face. Maybe open and close the eyes. Start to wriggle the nose. Move the upper lip and mouth from side to side. And then the same with the lower lips, side to side movement. And I start to open and close the mouth. So open and then close, maybe close with a pout. Maybe draw the lips in. Soften through the jaw. Just allow all of those 40 odd muscles to recreate a different facial expression. Let go of any emotions that aren't suiting you or stresses and strains that have gathered. And then just allow the face to rest. Take one long inhale in through the nose. And just sigh out through the mouth. Soften the shoulders, relax the hips. Take the hands to the outside edges of the knees. Draw the knees in towards each other, uncross the ankles. Give the knees a rub with the palms of the hands, just to thank them for all the work they do. Take the hands to the outside edges of the hips, extend the legs along the mat, point and flex the toes. And then we're going to bend the legs at the knee, plant the soles of the feet on the floor, and just take ourselves down onto the mat. You can use the pillow and invite in some blankets if you feel that you would like to. And ease the body down towards the floor. Bend the legs at the knee at first. Again, feel into the torso, realign the torso so that it suits how you are, how you're feeling. And then when you're ready, just extend the legs along the mat. Allow the arms to come out to the side, just soften and relax. Just return to your own normal breath, scan the body. How's the body feeling now as compared to when you first came to class? Soften the eyebrows, relax the forehead. Let the tongue be soft in the mouth. Part the lips, soften the jaw. And just allow yourself to surrender to the safety of the floor. Allow the bones to soften, the joints to relax. Let the muscles fall away from the bone. I hope you've enjoyed this class to let go of the day. We're going to slowly rejoin. Start to circle the ankles, point and flex the toes. Maybe just gently rock the legs from side to side. Bend one leg at a time, bringing the feet to the floor. Do a couple of pelvic tilts here so that the torso can allow for that change of angle in the lower body. And then we're going to lift the hips over to one side, roll over onto the side body. Use that upper arm and palm to help you push yourself up into a seated position. Bring yourself into that easy sukhasana. Allow yourself to soften and relax. Let the sit bones connect with the mat. Take a long, slow, gentle inhale. And soften, exhale through the mouth. And then bring your hands together for our Anjali Mudra, our heart mudra, just to finish our practice. Thank you for joining me for this class. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's pepped up your week, and do join me for other classes. In the meantime, take care and have a wonderful day, evening or morning, wherever it is you're going on to. Bye for now.